welcome to my YouTube channel finally. I'm going to be discussing my Tinder blogs on here from now on probably. It takes a lot of effort to write a story and actually have to feel something for somebody to be able to get in my artistic mode and just like type away. So since I'm a little angry right now, I'm just going to start video blogging about my Tinder dates, and I hope you guys enjoy this. If not, just let me know and I will go back to writing. Sorry about my makeup on my hand. But I have a very interesting story for you guys. I know I haven't written in a really long time. I've been going through some stuff personally and I just haven't really had the time or motivation to really write. So this is a better outlet for me, I think, and hopefully you guys will think so too. So I'm going to call this one Jackson. Jackson is like 6'2". He's mixed, of course, always. You guys know how I am. He's also in the military, or was in the military. And I'll be getting back to that scenario in a little bit, but I met him on Tinder about 2 weeks ago. It was like April 22nd, I think, and right away we decided that we were gonna hang out. So we actually met up at a local mall, and they have like bars there and stuff, but instead of going to the bar, we just decided to hang out and talk. And I'm cool with that, like whatever, I'd rather get to know you. When I pulled up to meet him, he was parked kind of far away from the parking lot, and I was like, so I pulled my car around and parked kind of close to him, and then he gets out of the car, and my first impression was, oh my gosh, he's so cute. He has these dimples, he's tall, he's handsome, like what else could you want, right? So then I saw his whole body, and he had on what looked like my dad jeans. So my dog's coming over here, sorry. So my dad wears these like polo jeans, and they looked exactly like my dad's jeans, and I was like, that's fucking weird. So this guy's older. Lay down, Coco. He's in his 30s, and he was really sweet. My dog's distracting me. Come here. Come lay down. Come sit. Lay down. She's not feeling well. She has an ear infection. But anyway, this guy was really sweet at first. We just talked for a really long time, and then ended up going on a car ride to, oh my gosh, it was like the Clearwater Beach, like, I forget the name of that bridge. But anyway, we just like drove down there. We were talking, whatever. So I wrote notes because I've never done this before. Also, I found out that he had a flip phone, and I was like, that's really weird, like a burner phone, like this is weird. So that was my first red flag. But you know how I am. I let things go on until I have actual proof. So yeah, so then he told me about this girl that he was like in love with and traveled with all the time, and right away the next day he was like planning on trying to take me somewhere, and I was like, this is another red flag. Like, this shit's weird. A YouTube video, or this girl used to talk about how red flags, like right away, and that was one of the things. Like, if he's already planning stuff with you like early on, then that's a huge red flag. And like, I never really thought about that, but now I see it. Like, it's a huge red flag. Like, if somebody's trying to book vacations with you and do all this crazy shit with you, like right when they meet you, like don't buy into that shit, because it's gonna end up bad. So anyway, the next day he and I texted all day. He was at work and then asked me to come over at night. So I went over to his house, and what I thought was his house. The story gets so interesting, guys, so just hang in there. And my first impression was like, oh, this place is decorated so nicely. Like, who decorated this place? And he was like, oh, it's my dad's condo. Me and my sister used to live here, blah, blah, blah. It looked like a girl decorated the house. Like, really? It was so nice in that house. So in the condo, I guess. So that was another red flag, but I was just like, you know what, whatever, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I believe him. So then we just ended up like watching SNL that night, talking. He fell asleep, and then I was like scared to wake him up because I kept like shaking him like this and he wasn't waking up. So I was like, should I just leave? Like, I don't know. So then finally SNL was over and I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna go ahead and head home. And he's like, do you want to stay with me? And I was like, no, that's okay. So because that was only the second time that I had met him, you know, I like to try to take my time with things. So the next day he was texting me and asked me to come over again. So I was like, sure. This time I brought tequila, and tequila and I are BFFs. So if you ever need to get to my heart, tequila, please. So the next day, I got to his house at like 11:30 because that's when he got off work. Well, he was like cooking and stuff, and we were just sitting there talking. I was drinking, and we got into like a topic about this girl who he used to date not too long ago, and she was a redhead, and how she thought that he was cheating, so she broke up with him. And I was like, yeah, women always think the worst, but you know, we listen to our intuition, and that's what it is. Like, something is telling us that something's off. Why are we ignoring it? So after that, I stayed the night with him. I did, actually. And then in the morning, we woke up and we were just watching TV, and he is huge into the stock market and stuff, and we were just watching TV, and then it was like 10:30, and I was like, I should probably head home, go get ready for my day, whatever. So later that day, let me look at my notes. Okay, so after a couple of days, so I hung out with him Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, and then I think it was Thursday or Friday, we hung out, and he invited me to go to lunch. I don't eat lunch. I barely eat until like way at night. I know it's an awful habit, but like we went and I just got a drink, and then he was like, let's go for a walk. So we went to the bay and walked on the bay. I usually run that track, so I know like everything that's around there. So we went over there and we just had a conversation about like what he wants to do with his future and like where he sees himself in 10 years and blah, blah, blah. And I'm the type of person, like, I don't like to get my feelings involved right away, because if there's anything that I've learned from these stories and these people that I've come into contact with, it's like, you can't trust anybody. Like, people are going to tell you what you want to hear just to get what they want. And I'm a very genuine person. Like, I tell the truth. I'm nice. I tell the truth. I'm loyal. Like, what else could you want? I text back fast? Like, what the fuck? Anyway, so after that, like, he even said that he had thought about having kids with me, and I was like, that's weird. Like, we're moving a little too fast, buddy. Slow your roll. So after that, he started acting really weird. So later that night, he was hardly texting me, and then I texted him and I was like, hey, I had a really good time with you. I hope everything's okay. I haven't really heard back from you, but it was just basically like along the lines of, hey, I had a good time with you. Like, if you want to talk, you're being a little weird. Like, I'm here, whatever. And he was like, no, I'm fine. You're thinking too far into it. And I was like, yeah, right. You're probably texting your other girlfriends. And I was totally fucking kidding. Like, I just pulled that out of the blue. And he was like, what makes you think that? And I was like, it was a joke. So he started acting really, really weird, like I said. So his brother came into town on a Friday. So he was like, I'm going to be hanging out with my brother, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, well, if you want to see me, let me know. And he's like, nah, I'm going to be hanging out with my family. And I was like, all right, no big deal, whatever, man. Like, that's cool too. Family first, whatever. So, but it was really weird to me the way he was acting. So, because, you know, people show you patterns, and if you're like a certain way for the first 3 times that we meet and then you're completely different, like, I'm gonna think something. So Friday night, actually, my grandfather had died, and I went to the hospital to go see him by myself, and that was a little bit traumatic for me. So, you know, of course I texted him and I was like, hey, or he had texted me and was like, hey, how's your night going? And I was like, not so good. My grandpa just died. I had to go see him by myself. I'm really upset. And he said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And that was it. Like, this guy was so sweet to me, like, was asking me to go places with him and do things with him, and like booking trips or trying to book trips with me, and like saying that he wanted to take me out and show me off and whatever. And I was just like, for that response after I told him that my grandfather had passed away, I was like, something is not right. So the next morning, I'm at breakfast with my family, and he was acting really weird, like not really texting me very much, like I just figured, like, you know, he's probably busy with his family, they're in town, whatever. So I go through his pictures on Instagram, didn't I, Coco? And this bitch had tagged pictures with this same girl. I think it was like all the way back from like November or something, and I was like, this is weird. So I text him and I was like, hey, when can I see you again? I kind of want to talk to you. And I probably should have just let it go at that point and been like, he's probably seeing someone else, he's too good to be true, like whatever. But we all know how I am. I let it keep going. So I actually went ahead and told him that I would bring him lunch and we could talk. So I went and bought him lunch and brought it to him to his job, and he sat in the car with me. And when he got in the car, I was like, who is this? And he was like, oh, she's an old thing. And I legit looked at him and I said, if I find out you're lying to me about this, I will block you from every social media and never speak to you again. He's like, no, I promise, blah, blah. So then after that, I actually went with my friends out to eat and was drinking a little bit. And I texted him and I was like, I'm really sorry for accusing you. I should have believed you. My dumbass was apologizing this whole time. Why? I don't know. So then, couple days later, he was like, hey, let's go to the beach. Or he's like, let's go to the beach on Thursday, which was yesterday. And I was like, all right, yeah, that sounds great. So we ended up going to the beach. Let me make sure that I'm not missing anything. Let me look at these notes. Got a whole notebook. Okay, so here's where the story gets real good. So we ended up going to the beach, okay? And he was being a little weird yesterday, and I was trying to figure out like what was going on. Like, I'm a really quiet person when somebody else is quiet, but if you're like really talkative, then I'm really fucking talkative too. But I just like kind of, I don't know, just like feeling the vibe. We were driving to Sarasota. It was a longer drive than any other beach over here. And I kind of thought it was weird that he didn't want to go to like Clearwater or St. Pete, but he wanted to take me far away to Sarasota. So I, of course, like told my mom where I was going. Like, I don't really know this guy. By the way, I always have my location on for my parents, and I always tell them where I'm going to be. I always send them a picture of the person I'm meeting up with if it's a new Tinder date, and I forward them their number. So if you're planning on kidnapping me and killing me, my parents know who you are. And I do extensive research prior to meeting up with you. My dog's trying to bite me. So don't try any sketchy business. So anyway, we were at the beach, and we were having a really good evening, just like sitting there talking. He had fallen asleep, so I went to the beach by myself, like into the water by myself, and he like followed behind me and was like making comments about a couple kissing over further down in the beach. And I was like, I'm not going out that far. Like, I can see the ground in Sarasota on the beach, but like, I don't know, the ocean freaks me out. So I like stayed close to the shore. And then I had bought this Velcro, like you put it on your hand and it's Velcro, and you throw a ball and it like attaches. So like we were playing that and stuff in the ocean and having like a really genuinely good time. And I was like, I could see myself with this guy. Like, I kind of like him. Like, I don't know what it was about him, but I was just intrigued by him, and he's really charming and so sweet and has this really nice smile. So I was, of course, starting to get feelings for him, and he told me everything I wanted to hear, but I ignored all the red flags for whatever reason. So after that, I took a couple pictures of him and I together, and I posted them on Instagram. And we were in the car, and I showed him that I had posted the picture, and he kind of like made this face, and I was like, don't worry, I didn't tag you in them, which I thought was so weird that I even had to say anything because he looked worried. So I was like, So the whole ride home, he was like really quiet, but had his hand on my leg, and we were just talking. I don't even remember what the hell we were talking about. I was just focused on the fact that he was kind of freaking out about me posting these pictures. Well, when I got home, I had a couple people like message me on the picture, or like comment on the picture and put like the side eyes, like, who is that? So I actually tagged him in it. I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna tag him in it. He says that he's not seeing anybody. What is the big deal? So here is where everything falls apart. So I right away realized that he untagged himself. Stop it, Coco, please. He untagged himself from the picture, and I was like, wait a minute, hold up. So I texted him right away, and I was like, hey, I want you to know that I really had a good time with you today. For whatever reason, I think it's weird that you, hang on, sorry. I think it's really weird that you untagged me, and whoever's feelings you're trying to avoid, blah, 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 like, it's sketchy, basically, is what I said. And I even said it's sketchy, but he never replied. So here's a little confession. I have a friend, and we're going to call her Mary. Mary and I were best friends in grade school, and Mary actually knows Jackson. So Mary's like, I messaged her and I was like, hey, do you know him, right? And she's like, yeah, he's really funny and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, there's something sketchy about him though. Like, and I was like, I'm really mad at him because he just untagged me in this picture. And she was like, yeah, that's weird. So she like went and did her own research, and she was like, oh no, he's definitely seeing this girl. And I was like, there's no way. So I go back to her page, and I'm looking at the tag pictures, and my fucking dumbass accidentally likes one of her pictures. And I was like, oh my God. And right away she messages me and was like, were you trying to get my attention? Because I had those pictures of him and I on my page, and right away I just like deleted the pictures, and I was like, I'm so sorry, like I was not trying to cause any drama, I apologize. And she was like, oh, so you spent the evening at the beach with my boyfriend. I suppose he wasn't at the library reading some book. The title was, I think she said The Trust or something, and I was like, hell no, he wasn't. There's nothing you can trust about this motherfucker. So, Jesus. So I felt so bad, and I felt so bad. I just ruined this girl's night. I ruined her. I felt like a freaking homewrecker, and it wasn't even my fault, but I mean, it kind of was because I saw the signs and I just ignored them. Can you not? So, I don't know. She was like, he's laying right next to me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So, I guess they broke up. She was messaging, or we were talking till like 2 in the morning, and she like kicked him out of the house and everything, and I haven't heard from him since. I stuck to my word. I blocked him from everything. But it just goes to show, like, if you see red flags, then why? Listen to your gut. That's all I'm trying to say, is listen to your gut. This guy was a player. He was playing both of us. Like, I know it was only a 2-week span, but, oh, another thing, the condo that he brought me to, nobody knows who the fuck. Like, where did that condo come from? She doesn't know about it. He won't tell her about it. He just says it's my friend's. And, like, it's so weird. Like, he was living with her, but brought me to this condo, and I don't know, I guess he like lives with his parents and spends most of his time with her, but like took me to this condo, and I was like, well, this is, because it was like in a gated neighborhood. Like, it was so weird. The whole situation was so weird. I really just need to start trying to take my time with people. It's been a good lesson. Like, if I see tagged photos from a week ago, I don't know, and I feel so bad for this girl because she's so nice, and it just sucks. Like, you think that the person that you're sleeping next to you can trust, and guys are freaking assholes, and it just sucks. Like, you could tell that this girl loved him, and I'm sure that he had love for her, but he just was selfish. And, you know, it's just a good lesson for all of us to look out for those red flags and try to just not date people from Tinder. I don't know. I'm going to go on a strike for a while, so if you guys don't see a video from me, that is because I'm on strike and guys suck, and that's right, Coco. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that I ramble a lot. If you prefer my writing skills, please let me know. I need some feedback so I know whether or not to continue to do this. Oh, Jesus. I will admit that my feelings aren't as hurt as I thought they would be. I'm more hurt for this girl that my dog is being obnoxious right now, but I'm more hurt for the girl that he played, who, you know, invested her time into him, and he was just a scumbag. So, man, what are you looking at? So thank you for watching my Tinder and Tampa Bayers. Hopefully I'll be back soon. If not, you know why. Guys suck. So that is all I have for you guys. Have a good day. Thank you.